the next test that we want to do is to update the UI. When we slide this slider, the value here, the price, max and min should update according to the slider values. Okay, so let's do that. This is the whole front end part. All right, switch to this index books.js, and then I think that we are going to create another event detection here. All right, so this will be the range update things. Okay, so if we take a look of the HTML file, the range item, element is here, right? The input which equal to type range. Okay, and we have the name here. So it is in the form, and we have the min and max value and the current value. So we could get this data simply. And then after knowing this data, we can also update the UI. All right, let's do this. Okay, what we have to do is just need to find the item here, the element here, sorry, this one, which is the input. Okay, this one is the input, right? The range max. Okay, we have to find this and get its value when it changes. Okay, so let's try to declare the variable. Okay, and find this thing, query selector. But this is the selection by name, right? So that's why we have to provide the input name equal to range max here. Okay, so this is the range itself. All right, another one is whenever the range changes, right, we want to update the text with this ID. So 300 here belongs to the span ID max price. So we want to do this by declare another variable. Okay, do the same thing, query selector, and this time it is the ID, so we can find it quite nicely using the ID here. And then we apply the on change function. Whenever the slider change, we provide the callback function here with the e parameter. Okay, and then what we have to do is that we want to update this text content to be equal to the value e target dot value here. So this one represents the current state of the range. Okay, so whenever we change it, okay, the text should update. Okay, so let's save this one, switch back to the front end, reload the page, and try to slide this one. Okay, it doesn't change, and should be the error. I see, I misspelled this on change, right? On change. Okay, a little typo here. Okay, let's switch back to here again, reload this, and then let's slide this. Okay, all right, it updates, okay, according to the slice or the range value. All right, so let's try to do this the same thing for the minimum one. So just copy this and change all of this to minimum. Okay, let me do this quite quickly. All right now I have copied this one, change from range max to range min, from max price to min price for all. Okay, so it means that this is the second slider or second range, the minimum one, and this is the first one, the maximum slider here. Okay, all right, let's try to test this when we slide this. Okay, it doesn't change, something wrong. Okay, but the max still change. Okay, let's check the code. And this because I forget to reload the page. All right, okay, let's try to reload the page and see again. So the minimum slider changes, also the maximum one. So both text here, updates according to the range or sliders value. So next thing is that we are going to get the value from form submission. So whenever the user input the search keywords and the price ranges, okay, we should create an event to respond to this action. All right, so this is for search form submission, right? All right, so the form is ID with this one, form search. So that's why I'm going to create a constant here, form search, document query selector, okay, with this ID, form search. And then whenever this form search has been on submit, right, we are going to link it to a callback function. Okay, and we are going to prevent default. All right, and then we will get the data from the form, which is the first one here, the search text box, which is of course with this name, right? The name is searched. Okay, so let's get this one first, and this could be any thing you want to label it as title, right? It is the book title. Okay, so you're going to find this one. No, we're going to use a document. No, not the easiest way is to rely on the form. Okay, and this one is the search, right? Because this one is sorry, this one is with the name search. All right, inside the form, namely form search, right? Okay, so we want to get this value. We can try to trim this also. So this is for the title. Okay, and next two thing that we want to get is here the value of the two sliders here. So we are going to create the new variables, the price max and price min. Okay, the things could be from the form also. Okay, because we have the name, right? The name of this one is the, if we take a look at this again, the name of the input is here, range max and range min. Okay, so let's try to refer to the name similar to the input text box. Okay, that value also, but we don't have to trim this. This is the text, right? You can try to pass this to an integer so that whenever the user, when we submit the value through this kind of book search or show book, right? The data here, books here, should be the name or the title, which is string, and the text, which is and sorry, the price, which is text, which is number, right? So you can try to use a number function or pass in function, okay, to wrap this so that this will be converted to number, price max, and we do the same thing for price min and range min. All right, so now we get all of the search values. I mean the keywords, the title, the minimum, the maximum price, and the minimum price. Okay, and we are going to send this to the backend. Okay, to call the function at the backend so that it perform the query. And that thing, okay, should be in this function search book. The keyword should be here, right? Okay, so it means that very soon we are going to call search book with this data. Okay, the price, title, price max, and price min. Okay, but I would like to combine it into JSON, because if we take a look at the backend, the data that we are going to send to the book searching things is in a JSON format with these three keys: title, price max, and price min, right? So what we are going to do is that we are going to convert these three things to be the values of the JSON. Okay, all right. So what I would like to tell you is that we are going to do something quite similar to this one. We are going to create the JavaScript object title with the title and the price max with the price max and price min. Actually, there is a shorter way to do this, but let's try to do something simple to understand first. All right. But the problem is that the thing that we are going to send to this part is only the JavaScript object. But that's fine. Actually, we can try to modify this thing later here around this part. All right. Imagine that we send JavaScript object to this thing, search book function. So the objective of this search book function will be for, after getting the data from the user, right, connect to the backend, call this service, the book service, okay, and then get the result in return. Okay, so let me specify what we are going to do, and then connect to the server, send keywords, okay, to server, all right, and then you get the response back, right? Okay, so send the response to search, to display or show book function here. Yeah, okay, this is what we are going to do. if the connection is a success. All right. So let's try to do this. Okay, so in order to do this, you have to use the same structure, try catch, right? So we can try to copy from the above part, which is a try catch, but I do recommend to copy from this file, the login.js that we have done before, because it uses the post connection, right? So the structure will be similar to what we are going to do because the search function use the post service. So that's why I'm just going to go for the login.js, the previous one, copy all of this part. All right, and paste it here. And then you will see that we have to modify something. Okay, let's check what we have to correct. Okay, first thing first, we have the option, which is the post method. Data will be JSON. Okay, here, the part that we have to change is here. Instead of send this username and password, right? This time we will send these keywords. Okay, so change this one to the keywords. All right. So this is the first thing that we have to change. Okay, and we see the error here, await. You can guess that we can solve this one simply using async, right? Async. All right, and then we are going to connect to the service, not log in. It is a book service, which is a post thing. And then with this option, okay, and if else one is okay, we will get the text in the JSON in return. If we check this one, you see that everything is all right. Okay, we get JSON in return, right? Okay, so that's why in this part we should convert this to JSON, not text. All right, and then we will not do this alert the message. We are going to do this. Send the response to show book, right? We just call show books. Okay, and then message. Actually, we shouldn't use the message because this will be the book's data, right? So you can change this one to be data or the search result or something. All right. Okay, so this is the correct or the successful connection with the return JSON, book list, and so on. We just update the table using this function. But if something wrong, we're gonna have to check this one. We return 404 not found, right? So that's why we have to change this status to 404. So when we get 404, we get text in return not found. Perfect. So this one convert to text and throw this error and alert the error. So this is it. Okay, the part that we have to do for the search book function. The next task is to see the result. All right, let's test the result here. Let's reload the page first. Okay, make sure that you start the slides to here. We are going to try to reset this very soon. Okay, let's try to use the same value that we have test in our test plugin here. Okay, previously, if you can remember, we test this, right? Using the NO and 300 and 200. Okay, and from this one, we get these two books. Okay, let's try to input this to the front end. Okay, let's try to input here NO and take this one 300 and switch this one to around 200. Okay, don't worry if it is not exact. Okay, I think it should be all right. Okay, let's try to search. Okay, right now you get this two value. Okay, quite nice one. Okay, if I try to reduce the maximum or the upper bound, okay, to something less than 299, for example, this value, we should get only the first result here. All right, perfect. Okay, so we have the last thing to do, which is the reset. Okay, because for this reset button, if we take a look at the HTML part, you'll see that the type of this reset button is the reset. It is in the form, right? So it means that whenever I click the reset things here, okay, here, the search input, the max and min range will reset to the original value. So we don't have to do anything about the reset here. But what we have to do is these two values, right? It doesn't update. Okay, so what really needs to be corrected is these two values. All right, so let's try to find this reset button. Okay, you can try to use a form submission on reset as well as the button click. Okay, let's try to switch to the code here. All right, in the JS file, let's put it below here. Okay, so this is for reset. Okay, things, right? So we are going to say that form search did on reset. Okay, reset. Okay, equal to something, function e. All right. So when we reset the form, right, what we have to do is just really update these two value, min price and max price, the text content. This is the text, right? Okay, above the range. Okay, just copy this one and say that this will be equal to the range max. Okay, dot max. Okay, this is the original value. We set it to be the maximum value, right? And then also do the same thing for the minimum thing. Just the min price, the text contents equal to this range min dot min. Okay, which is 0. We set this before. Alright, I think that should be done. Let's try to save this. Okay, and go back here and do this. Alright, let's try to change this value, change it here, and then click reset. Alright, it come back here. Should be perfect. Let's try to do this, and then that, and then reload the page. Alright, okay, so this is the last thing that we have to do. When we change the slider value and reload the page, right, you see that the value here is correct, but the slider value itself, I mean the slider UI, the range UI doesn't reset to this original value because of the cache. Let's try to solve this. Alright, let's try to reset the form. Okay, to solve those UI issues. Okay, we are going to do something quite simple. We are going to reset the form when page is loading. Right, you just call this thing from search dot reset. And that's it. Okay, so it is similar to reset everything in the form, right? So let's try to save this one. Okay, switch back to the output, reload the page here. All right, you don't see anything change, right? This time let's change the slider part here and then click the reload. Okay, you see that it has been reloaded or updates to the original value. Okay. So that's it. The program has complete, and then you see the example of how to create this bookstore, simple bookstore application with the searching function and also the table display.